Hey everyone, Amanda Vollmer here of Yummy.Doctor, healingwithdmso.com, and Yum Naturals Emporium. I want to share with you some important information that a friend of mine just sent, and it goes alongside some other research I've been doing lately, really just putting the puzzle pieces together to help you understand the overarching situation that has been in the works for hundreds of years, really, to cull the population, control the population, genetically modify people. And it's a very specific eugenics agenda. And there's a lot of information out there about this situation, about who these people are who have been doing this for a long time. And for those of you who are woke, or at least diet woke, this is important information. The ones who are deep in slumber, the zombie apocalypse is here, and they are the ones that wear the masks and obey and don't think and drink the fluoride. And I don't know if we can save those people, but we're going to do our best to save ourselves and our loved ones. And this is information that for the thinking humans should raise some red flags and should really help you to go, wait, take a pause, take a beat, take a step back and go, let me just do a little more research on this. Let me understand this and help me protect my loved ones from this Frankenstein monster mess that has been pushed into our lives without our consent. What this piece of information is showing, as I've been talking about in many of my other videos, as I've been exploring and sharing for many years, first of all, viruses do not exist as described. We do not have contagion, and we do not have a germ theory. That is all false. What is going on, and what these PCR tests do, is actually take components of our own waste materials that are there to, when our bodies are stressed and strained, and they remove waste and they repair damaged DNA. So what this specific article is going to help you understand is that this piece, this highlighted piece of DNA, so these are base pairs, and there's 4 base pairs, and they make different combinations. So this is the so-called novel coronavirus that they search for in your body, and that they put in the PCR test, which is not even supposed to be used as a test. It's actually a tool to make more copies of this so you can tell what you actually have in your body. So this is the sequence. It's an 18-character primer, and it's found in the WHO coronavirus PCR testing protocol document, which is right here, okay? The Institute of Pasteur was a fraud, a liar, a hoaxer, and a fake. And if you want to learn about him, you can read Beauchamp versus Pasteur. There's a lot of information about what Pasteur did and his hidden laboratory notes that were only released recently. So this is the full sequence of full information where he got this, so you can look at that. So what's happened here is this is what they're using to detect in your body and to make a positive test result, okay? This is their sequencing, their primary assembly. Now over here, this is Homo sapiens, that's humans, chromosome 8, primary assembly. Chromosome 8 is this sequence. C, T, C, 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 T, 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 G, T, T, G, T, G, T, T, G, T. Very specific. And over here, C, T, G, C, T, C, 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 T, 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 G, T, T, G, T, G, T, T, G, T. It's this. What they are doing is calling our chromosome 8 primary assembly as the coronavirus. We are the virus. Your own DNA, like I've been saying, like I've been teaching, here's the evidence that what they are pulling out of your body and calling a disease is your own DNA. This should really help you, okay, understand the scam at hand here. And if you can't see this, if you go, oh, blah, 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 go away, go take the vaccine, leave, please, because you're too dumb to exist, really. All right, go back to the soil, start over. But for those of us with a thinking brain, this should help you understand the big scamola. Now, let's go over to my other research I've been doing before this came into my inbox this morning. I was researching Gardasil syndrome because what someone was asking me about what is happening with this vaccine, this Rona vaccine that they've been promulgating and pushing on us and trying to scare us into, and ignoring natural remedies and attacking natural remedies and fudging the numbers and taking our flu numbers and making them as this fake story, having this fake test to find our own DNA and tell us it's a disease, the lies, right? So what's the end goal of this whole thing? And I said that it is to genetically engineer the human race, as they've already been working on and doing with all vaccines. And also to sterilize certain populations, as vaccines do, especially, for example, in the wild horse community. You can look that up. That vaccine is specifically used to stop the breeding of wild horses so they don't have a huge population. They use vaccines for population control. And this particular information, this is not all 100% accurate because they're still coming from the germ theory when they're explaining things. However, this is what I'm talking about here. The DNA of the HPV strain is virtually identical to the rhesus monkey DNA protein and was in this polio vaccine, okay? So what they did is they took DNA that was very close to human DNA and they put it in the Salk polio vaccine. Then they injected the offspring, or so here we have, look, children who have had an offspring or parent who received the Salk polio vaccine, received the Gardasil HPV vaccine germline with this DNA in it. So they have this immune system problem that comes from Gardasil. And basically what's happening is there's a cross reaction in the body. There's a confusion in the body. When you inject DNA like that, it goes, well, who are you? What is this? Is this me, not me? Because the body has to understand self versus non-self. And when you do this, you confuse that mechanism. And what it will do is it will either tuck it away, it won't be able to rectify the problem because it's like a computer glitch, really, in a sense. And so these people get cancer. These people get what they call autoimmune diseases, but really what the autoimmune disease is that the body cannot do its job properly without attacking the self, because now you've put sort of self in areas of the body that shouldn't have that. But if the immune system, if the body goes after and tags those pieces of DNA, it will tag the pieces of DNA that are similar to it, that are healthy and normal and part of you, and it'll destroy the self. So it's this dance between how much of the self am I going to destroy? So you see, it's trying to get rid of something it's told by the body is foreign. It came in a foreign manner. It's tagged as foreign. However, you also contain that inside your cells. And so the body doesn't know how to rectify that, okay? This is a problem, sorry. This is a problem, okay? So do you understand? All right, so Gardasil syndrome, you can read about it more. This is basically poison. This is not protecting you from anything. There's no HPV virus. Your body makes these things in response to injury. Your body makes these things with your own DNA inside of it, or RNA, to send to an area that has damage. If your cervix has been damaged either by sex, either by inflammation, either by some sort of imbalance in the tissues, acidity in the tissues, chronic inflammation, what happens is your cells, your pleomorphic cells, change shape to go and take the information to repair those cells to the area. And that's your own DNA. It's your own DNA. They're toolboxes of repair. And of course, once the job is done, it will shed, or it will just be present or be reabsorbed if it doesn't need to shed. But if you want to go and do a scraping, what are you going to find there? You're going to find these particles of your own DNA in the area that's trying to repair it. And these dumb mofos who can't think, who call themselves doctors, who call themselves intelligent, they are so confused. They are in such a cult. They're so brainwashed. They're so dumbed down. They can't see what's right before them. And what's right before them is the evidence, the effect of a healing. They think every symptom is a disease. They think they suppress it and they cure it. They're silly. They can't get their head around it because they've been brainwashed by these clowns, by the WHO and all their cronies. Okay? So this is important for you to understand, okay? It's important that you realize that this is evidence of what I'm talking about and have been talking about for years, that the material we are finding that we or they are calling viruses is nothing more than your own DNA. And why do you think they're getting such false positives out of this crappy test? Because you all have this in your body. And at any given point in time, your body is going to repair this piece of information, especially if you have inflammation, especially if you're having exudate of the lungs, you're having a clear out or a detox of the lungs, which is what a cold and flu is. It's a detox. It's getting rid of waste. If you detox your body ahead of time, you don't get sick. You don't get these things. It's not contagious. You don't catch anything. You don't get anything. You get triggered into detoxes. That's all it is. And so when you're detoxing and they find these particles that have come to the area to repair your cells, they make a cartoon of it and they tell you it's floating through the air and it's going to kill you. You're being punked. You're being lied to. This is a hoax. This is a Trojan horse for a socialist takeover. Okay? I don't know how much more clearly I can explain it to you than this. I probably will talk about this at this health summit that I invite you to. You can sign up at this page. It's in 9 days, August 29th and 30th, Eastern Standard Time. There's some really wonderful people here. Terry, Betsy Clark. I'm at 11 a.m. till 12 p.m. here. And I'm excited for to talk with Jason and Will. Josh Mason. There's just some really great, we're going to all be in the roundtable discussion at 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, we're all going to be, this is us having a chat together, which is really exciting. And those are the Sunday presentations. Look at that, pretty cool. So I really hope you can make it to this. I'm sure it will be put in wonderful, YouTubes and DTubes and other places to find it after the fact. But at least if you can be a part of it now, that would be really exciting. So there that is. Listen, share this with people. Help them understand that viruses do not cause disease, that viruses are your own DNA. They come from your body, okay? They come from your body. It's a chromosome. And that you make these things in accordance with inflammation and damage to tissue. Bacterial infections are no more than areas of diseased tissue that need to be removed by the body. You don't use antibiotics to kill them. You assist the body to detox the tissue and repair the tissue. Okay, you don't kill yourself. Stop. We have to stop killing ourselves in the name of trying to not kill ourselves. So again, my website's yumnaturals.com. I have a lot of holistic remedies that can really take your health to the next level, help you detox properly, prevent colds and flus, and put yourself in a really fine place of health and balance and wellness so that you don't become a victim. Because now, if you do get sick or something does happen, you have to go into these institutions. These institutions are dangerous. They're going to force testing on you. And by all means necessary, do not get tested. You must not refuse the test, refuse the contact tracing. Watch my video on the dangers of contact tracing. Please help people wake up to the agenda before there's no more fight left to be given, because soon they already have started the quarantine centers. So it's not going to be good enough that you quarantine at home. They're going to take you into quarantine centers away, separate you from your family. Do not send your children to school. Please, are you daft? Don't send them to school. The children are next. They killed our elders. Now they're coming after the kids in September. Stay at home. Protect your children at all costs. Let me just, before I go, I didn't answer my original question. This is the plan, okay? The plan is they've been spraying nanoparticles of metals in the sky through through geoengineering, okay, for a long time. And if you can't see that, you're blind as a bat. So most people who don't detox metals or nanoparticles are full of them, okay? By the way, you can use borax to get rid of a lot of these nanoparticles. You can also use clays. Certain clays like diatomaceous earth, zeolite, bentonite clays can grab out a lot of it. Activated charcoal can get rid of a lot of it. I have a lot of this on my website. These particles are part of the genetic engineering of the human race. So what they do is they inject these pieces of DNA into the body. So the vaccine will have a specific, basically mimic what the body does in the toolboxes. The so-called virus toolbox is a piece of DNA with a protein coat around it that has a delivery method. They can also make it into a phage, which is a fast shock protein created by really quick bacterial death. So when you kill bacteria really fast, it'll make a phage. And phages will hold the DNA of the bacteria. So when the coast is clear, it can reinfect cells. Or infect just means to insert the DNA so that the bacterial lineage that you need for your health will grow back. Okay, that's what those things are, as Dr. Stefan Lanka proved, and many other brilliant actual thinkers and scientists and doctors have shown and proven. That's wholly ignored, suppressed, and attacked by the mainstream media. Shame on them and these fake doctors with their white coats and their cult-like mindset. So you're full of, imagine, people full of metals and eating crap. Nobody tells them that their diet can actually change their health, which is a joke. Nobody tells them about nutritional deficiencies. Nobody corrects any of their imbalances. They just keep drugging them and poisoning them further. So they're already sick and on the edge. And then you inject these packets of DNA that you want to insert into their genome so that you can control them further or change their behavior. And what you do, how you do that is called a method of electroporation. So if you have enough metals in the body and then you turn on your 5G towers, what you can do, so the first phase is the phage will get the DNA into the cell. That will happen. But the second phase is you have to get that piece of DNA into the nucleus. And how you do that is through electroporation. And how you do that is to make sure there's enough metals that will be resonant with the frequency of the electromagnetic field that you pound on people. And so if you use 5G 60 gigahertz and vibrate people, at the time, once they've received their vaccine, electroporation will create these micropores inside the nucleus so the DNA will go in and you will get your genetically modified human. It's as simple as pie. It's not complicated, but this is what the game is. This is the strategy, okay? So this is why you don't take the vaccine. You don't take the test. You stay away from medical practitioners like MDs and most dentists and even most chiropractors. They're pathetic. I only know like a few percentage of chiropractors who are supposed to be holistic practitioners that are not wearing masks, that haven't fallen for this scam, okay? Even naturopaths, even most of my colleagues, a good 50% are in this lie. It's pathetic. So be careful. The teachers, they're going to pretend they care about your kid's health. They get their snotty nose or runny nose in October. Oh, going to have to isolate the child from the family to protect you while they traumatize this kid. You don't think it's child abuse to send your children into a school where you can't touch anybody, where you have to have a desk with plexiglass around it, or you have to mask a child? These people are mentally ill. It's Munchausen by proxy. The government has Munchausen by proxy disease. They're making healthy people, they're pretending that healthy people are sick. They're insane. They're textbook insane and should be locked up. Okay, so I'll end it there because I wanted to just tidy that up. Have a great day. Stay true to yourself. Be brave. Stand up. Say no. Go and write your members of parliament, your governors. You put them on the spot and you tell them. You give them a letter of notice that said that you're watching them and that if they continue this behavior, they'll be sued. And they'll be personally liable for the suicides, for the broken families, for the damage to the economy, for people losing their jobs or people going hungry. It's on them. You tell them it's on them. Have a great day. Amanda Vollmer out.